Well, it started off with such an interesting presentation with Colonel Hatfield talking about his experience on his shuttles and really bringing it down into the boardroom context. So how do you manage risk and anticipate every eventuality and plan for it? Because there is no problem that really you can't solve for if you plan for it in advance.
Yeah, and he made some fantastic remarks about the need to define what success is and how do you actually get there. And his fundamental point was you get there in lots of little baby steps where life is really about micro rather than the macro. And of course, the more planning you do, the greater the ability to manage all the different things that can go wrong, as Jane alluded to.
This year we had 2 economists start the panel, as we've done in the past, but it was interesting. There are different perspectives on oil, oil, oil. Everything in Canada this year is oil. Where is it going? What's the impact? Who are going to be the winners and losers? And certainly Alberta and Saskatchewan look like they're going to be challenged, but BC and Ontario could see some wins out of more manufacturing and a lower dollar for as interest rates trend lower for longer.
The economists made the point that the world's economy is clearly slowing down somewhat, especially in the emerging world where the rates of growth were really a lot higher going back a few years ago. The US is doing well, and Canada clearly has had a slower time, and this may go on for some period of time. That said, it's not the end of the world. There's some very good things going on over here in central Canada and elsewhere. Alberta will be a challenged place for a period of time, but over time everything's going to be good.
There seems to be still a lot of investment interest in real estate and finding pockets of opportunity across the world. Canada looks interesting, but it's difficult to find an entry point. The US possibly frothy, but still lots of room for growth. Europe could be slow, nobody knows, but there is a lot of money still looking for investment in real estate.
Of course, the question is always, what about the Canadian housing market? And the one economist made it quite clear that people focus perhaps too much on a few isolated statistics which are constantly repeated in the media, making the point you need to drill down deeper, peel back the onion, and really get a better understanding as to what's going on. And his end conclusion is that it's not as scary as some people may think. That said, the point was made, we do need to watch employment levels.
And then specifically in real estate, what you see is sector challenges. The office market in Canada anyway right now is a little bit challenged. Retail is also going to face its dynamics. Industrial seems fairly stable. Now, everywhere people are having to adapt to trends, whether it's millennials, whether it's technology. Real estate has to become forward-facing and ahead of the trends.
The one thing that was made fairly consistently by many of the senior people here is that we should increasingly think of real estate as being a people business, where it's people serving people in their needs, a service industry. And if you think in those terms, the whole capital side of the equation, the financial implications, of course, are always important. But if we focus on why we are actually in business and what we're trying to achieve, we're going to get better outcomes.
And certainly that's on the real estate side, but even internally, all of the CEOs commented that they're focused on developing people. How do they attract talent? How do they make sure they've created the best culture? So CEOs spend most of their time on building the right environment to attract the best staff.